As states move to lift school mask mandates, CBS Evening news anchor and managing editor Norah O'Donnell spoke with a group of moms juggling the changes. Starting March 12th, California, Oregon, and Washington State will no longer require masks in schools. And New York is dropping its mask mandate tomorrow. And as Norah O'Donnell shows us, parents are also left with difficult decisions. She speaks with 4 mothers in Virginia, where the governor recently signed a law giving parents the right to decide whether their children should wear masks.
Raise your hands if your child will still wear a mask. Why will they still wear masks?
So we actually talked about this. I asked my kids, would you like to continue to wear a mask? And they're like, Mom, of course we want to. We don't want to get COVID. We don't want to get sick. We don't want to pass it along.
My husband and I talked it through, and we felt that we would transition off of masks gradually.
Will your son wear a mask?
He is extremely excited to be able to not wear a mask at school. He loves to smile at people.
Do you think this issue about kids in school, COVID in school, masks or no masks, ends up driving a lot of people to the polls on both sides?
I think so. I don't think that this started politically at all. I think that this was people weighing their individual circumstances, trying to do what's best for their community, how those choices were impacting their families. I think what politicians have done as they've come in and they've realized there's an opportunity here to drive this and jump on one bandwagon or another.
And exploit people's fears.
Exploit or capitalize, I think, on these issues and on these very emotional and often very personal decisions. And so I think that it has made this so much more divisive than it really needed to be.
Moms are mad about this.
I do think moms are mad. Some dads too. I don't want to say it's only moms. But parents who feel that the school system did 2 things, right? You can't divorce the childcare aspect from it. And also it provided a really solid education. And both of those things were put seriously at risk during the pandemic. And then I think there's this sense that the education that was provided during the pandemic, somewhat by necessity, wasn't as high quality as what we would want. And we need to now confront that. And I personally feel like that is also driving some of the anger.
You looked like you were going to say something, Christina, about that.
Yeah, I think that there's a burn the house down kind of energy actually in moms that I know right now across the state. It's anger that we've had the solutions to fix our buildings, to clean the air. We haven't done them. It's anger about the politicization of public health. It's anger that we can't act collectively to end this thing.
You all have different opinions on this, but can you see that what you have in common is that you are all trying to make the best decisions for your families?
Oh, absolutely. And I don't envy anyone having to make these decisions.
I think one thing that we have in common is the amount of stress that it's placed on parents.
I think another layer of this that sometimes gets overlooked is, of course, the pandemic isolated all of us from each other too. So all of these conversations are not happening organically at the soccer field or the PTA meeting, and you can't have a side conversation and realize that you do have some common ground here and there.
Yeah, it's tough for parents out there.
I was going to say, you guys have little ones. Mine are potty trained.
Yeah.
And
Potty trained and employed. But so I'm past this stage. But I feel for parents who have to make these decisions.
And whether the mask mandates are lifted in your area or at your school, it is up to the family. It is up to the parent and the child. Say, you know what, I do want to send my kid home with the mask or send my kid to school with the mask. And if you don't want your kid to wear a mask and those mask mandates are lifted, you shouldn't be judged at all.
Yeah, as we heard from Dr. Jha, one-way masking is effective. If you're particularly vulnerable or particularly concerned, you can wear a mask and provide protection to yourself, and others can make their own decisions.
Right.
I think that is the future, particularly at a school setting.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that, Norah.